Hello friends, this is Wendy and I make interactive photo journals and I also make mistakes. And I've been working on a video on this particular topic and I keep jumping off of topic, which apparently is something that I do a lot. But I wanted to make the point of the video because I'm now finding that as I am cutting off all of those, running at the mouth, going down other paths in the middle of trying to make a point. I want to share with you about not being afraid to start a little golden book. I think the best way to not be afraid is to go to a thrift store and find a book, any book. Hopefully they're 50 cents, some are 25, right? Or if you even know somebody that has a bunch in a box somewhere from when their kids were little and they're willing to give them to you, oh my gosh. Anyway, the reason I stick with this is that I like the size of it. I like the little cute stories in there. I like everything about it. So this was 50 cents at a thrift store. It is not the cover is not in great shape. The pages are in pretty good shape, although there's some dirt here. And paper and water it turns paper into mush, so I may have to just leave that. But this is going to be one of my next books to finish up Christmas from whatever year that was, 2023, I think. And so I feel like, having paid 50 cents for this, I have license to play. I'm going to sand around the outside of the book. The inside, I'm probably not going to do too much with. However, let me just share. So when you've only paid 50 cents for a book, it does give you the freedom to take the book apart and to see, how do I want to deal with the pages inside? They end up being a ½ inch too long when you get the book done. So you can either cut it here, and this one might not be too bad. I don't like to cut off any of the picture, but you could do that. Or you could do, I will show you in the video a couple of folds that I have done and that I have seen done. And I won't be working on this book. I'm going to be working on another book, and I'll show you how I finished the cover. And having done that cover, I now have more confidence to do this cover and have it turn out cute. So, without further ado, here is my video. My next book that I'm going to start will be Magic Kingdom. And I went through my pile of thrifted books, little golden books, and I found this one. And this is actually a perfect one for being afraid to get started, afraid of messing up. This one is in really good shape. I think this will be good for Magic Kingdom, but I'm not happy with the cover. Whoever this child was put an E on there. There's some damage. There's damage all along the edge. It's very interesting, this book. The edges have been really damaged, yet the inside is in pristine condition. So that is really interesting. But if you're afraid to ruin a book, you get them at a thrift store and they're $1 or less. And it gives you permission to play, I think. I mean, for me. So we are going to give this one a try. So you have to find the middle, and there's basically 6 pages And then this should be the middle. This is 6 on the other side. What's an extra page? Did I count these wrong? Okay, so once you have counted 6 pages correctly, you take, this is the best tool that I have found. There may be better tools out there, but this is one I have in my kitchen. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but as I am going in here, I can see it with my eye, but not with my camera. There you go. You can start to see the staples. And you just gently twist it back and forth to kind of force it. And then I just go in here and kind of do the same thing until I find the staples, and then my knife fits right in between them. Okay, so now I have the staples like that. There's 2 signatures. So I'm going to take the first signature out and then the second signature out. Now let's see, there's the newer ones, the signatures are perforated, but this is an older one and they're not. And that's that gives you some choices, but I'm just going to set these aside. And now I want to deal with this. So first, I think I'll grab scissors. I'll get these ones. These are by Tim Holtz. I do like them very much. And I'm going to try my absolute best to cut right in the center. Okay, well, I did my best. I'll tell you what I generally do. This is like a wire cutter. And the only negative to using wire cutters is that sometimes when you cut them, that's why I'm putting my hand right here. Wow. I'm having a hard time here. There we go. Sometimes this little bit will fly through the air and you never know where it turns up. And I think I'm going to, I'll snip this one too. I think I have a little hammer. I won't do it on my glass because then I won't have my glass anymore. But I think I'm going to pound these down. The reason being that when you begin to construct your actual book, you're going to put cardboard over here because you don't want this hinge. So I bought this little hammer years ago for setting eyelets. I now don't have anything sharp. I just hammered that down. With the fact that these are not perforated, you have choices. You can choose to cut a 1/2 inch off the side. The negative takeaway of that is that if you cut the 1/2 inch off, you're going to cut part of his foot. Does that matter to you? I mean, and that's a question you have to ask yourself. It mattered to me. I did do that with my Corby book. I tried several different folds. I watched a number of different YouTube channels, and one of the first things I tried was just cutting a 1/2 inch off. It gave it the right size, but was I happy with it? No. 2 things I wasn't happy with. I didn't like part of the picture getting cut off, but I also did not like the puncture holes from the staple showing. So that bothered me. Someone else did a fold where they folded it like a 1/2 inch this way, and I don't know what they did after that. I think they added paper onto here, and I'm really not exactly sure. And then they stitched through. So the story was like this, and then paper. That would work if you like that idea and you like that fold. that would absolutely work. I mean, if that would work for you. I have done two different things, and I've gone back to my original where I cut here. In fact, I have one I need to do, so let me do that real quick. This is actually the book that I'm currently working on. I haven't finished it. I've almost finished it, but it's not done yet. I'm going to put that sideways just so I know exactly where the page is going to go. This is a newer one, and so you can see that the page is perforated. You can hear it, you can see it. You wouldn't want to stitch right through that. I don't think it would hold up. That's just my opinion, that I don't think it would hold up. So what I have done recently, so I put these two together. And when I very first started doing this, I didn't have this handy dandy scoreboard. And now I am going to go a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to score that. Make sure that it has scored through to the other page. It has. Okay. So the next thing I'm actually going to do is score at 1/4 inch. Now the nice thing about that 1/4 inch there is that you actually get rid of, I don't know if you can see those dots? That's where the staple was. You're actually going to get rid of that, which is super good in my book. Okay, so with that nice crease there, I folded it really well, and then I laid it on the guillotine cutter like that, so that it was nice and up against the wall of it, like that. And then I cut. So now I have this nice cut. So then the next thing, so I want to fit one inside the other like that. Okay. So now I know that I need to put my score tape along this line here, which I'm going to do right away while I am noticing it and knowing exactly what I need to do. So this will hit there, and then I want it here. Make sure I get this all the way to the edge. So now it is reinforced. So the stitch will go right down here. Sometimes when I do this, like here, if that ends up bothering you, and I showed it in my Santa book, it bothered me. This one isn't doing that, but this one might. You just take a bead of glue and you run it along there. So it just kind of depends on, since you have 1/4 inch here and your tape is 1/8 inch, there's a little bit of wiggle room as to where the tape will land, right? So you can always do that. And now when you stitch it, it's going through 2 layers, and it should be sturdy enough to hold up to that. And I have found this the easiest. I thought cutting it off and then adding another layer on the outside would make me happier, but it did not. So you can see what else I did. So I did this for a lot of this book. See, and I could do a bead of glue here. I'm not as happy with this method of putting putting my book together. This is going to go inside there. This is going to go inside there. But here we have this book. And the cover is not anything I'm happy with. So I can play. Ask me how much I really care about this cover. Clearly, I don't. Already, though, doing it on purpose versus what it was before. By the way, I've mentioned this in other videos. I have scratched this up. I don't know if you can hear that, but I have scratched this up. You don't want to sand right on your glass. You can put a piece of paper there. This has a small amount, 1/8 of an inch maybe, that's keeping it off of it, but you don't want to sand directly on your glass mat unless you just don't care about scratches, which I kind of do. Boy, I hate that E. Shall I just get rid of it? Can I get rid of it? Wow, maybe. Wow, not sure. About got rid of the R, but that E is there forever, right? I'm going to play with this a little more. I'm not going to end up using the oxide inks. I may actually sand this again to get into here. And to be honest, I am actually liking it. I can add something on the cover if I want to. I could put like a Mickey ears kind of a thing on there, or I could put some kind of a, I don't know. I can put anything I want on there. So when I am done playing with this, I will let you know. I do want to share one more thing with you. So the back. The back is really dirty, and I am going to clean it off. But one thing that you can do, and I think I will do it after I put my inch strip of cereal box right here. You can cover it with any paper that you like. I would use thinner paper, you know, just like, what is it, 20 pound? You could even use wrapping paper, which is even a lighter paper than copy paper. You would just glue this down really good, and I think I will do that. Okay, so this jar, and it's all really moist inside. I don't know if you can see. And it is almost all used up, but it is more than 5 years old. And one thing I guess I can say is that I don't use it enough. This is the Distress Collage Medium. And then the other is that if you do put the press and seal, it's this press and seal. Okay. If you do put this in there, it will keep your glue fresh. So you want to press it all the way down so that, I need to do another little piece. I've got a bigger piece there. First one didn't tear off quite right, and I thought it was enough, but it wasn't. Okay, so now I've got my press and seal in there. And this was not my brilliant idea. It did come from Tim Holtz. He does something else now with a rubber band, but man, this works for me. I don't need to switch to something else. But I'll tell you, my husband, he buys this putty stuff. And to keep it moist, he does the same thing. And he says, thank you, Tim Holtz, every time he uses it. So there you go. Okay, so now that it's sealed, and I didn't seal all of it. I guess I could have. It hasn't totally dried yet, but the E bothered me a lot. I don't know why I couldn't get over it, but it bothered me a lot. So, so I went with my sander. I won't actually sand, but you can see there must be a little bit of corrugation or something in the cardboard, but instead of going around, I started just going in straight lines, and I got way more goodness out of that. Then I inked it with just the Distress ink, not the oxide. Here it is. So I used my vintage photo Distress ink. Anyway, I went to town on that E. I mean, I went to town, and I don't know if you can tell, but I actually started wearing everything down to the cardboard. It's a chipboard. Started losing the R. Started making some serious scratching stuff, and then I decided to cover it with this paper. This is something I have had for years. And the paper has a Disney copyright on the back. Anyway, so I put this on and covered it. And then I wasn't happy with, well, I had taken my ink, my Distress ink, and I had just really inked it really, really well to try to cover up all my scratches and stuff as I was trying to get rid of the E that never went away. Must have soaked into the chipboard. So I decided I needed to do something to cover all of that up. I think, yeah, the lighter green one was Prima, and the darker green one, I believe, was Spellbinders. Something I bought years and years ago. And I was going to just snip them off, and then I just thought, you know, it'd be fun to take them onto the back side also. Of course, by putting this here, I lost his ears, and you can tell that, yeah, you can tell that I used paper, and I just happen to have, I have a ton of different Mickey punches, and one of them just happened to fit where his ears were supposed to go, which was awesome. So that's what I did with the cover. What I did with the back, and I was gonna do the whole back. So I got some more of this paper out, and I was gonna glue it on and everything. And then I realized that when I make this, completely make this, and I'll put the cereal box here, you know, and then I'll put the fabric down, and then I can fold this over the fabric. I will cut these off. So this will flap here and this flap there, and then so they won't have all this extra bulk, and just lay it down, and then I will, at the very least, seal the edges. But I was thinking I would do it now, but I decided I will do this when I am making the book all together. Okay, so now that this is dry, I am going to put all of this together, and I'm going to just keep the paper like this. I might turn it like that so that it's not falling all apart. Got the photos I want to put in this book, and I even have some fabric that I think will go well. Let's make it so then, yeah. That I think will go well with this. So, put all of this together in this Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna put it on my shelf. I have a shelf that I kind of stick these all on. However, you can throw them in a drawer. You could put them, you know, wherever you feel like putting them. I like putting them together. As I collect stuff to go in them, I can just throw it right in here. For example, I have this castle. I have had this for years. Decades, maybe a decade. Anyway, I've had it for a long time. It's all dusty and everything. I'm using it this time. Yeah, totally. And I can start throwing things in there as I'm collecting them. Put this back here so I can see what the cover is. I could write Magic Kingdom on there. In fact, I will. I hope this was helpful. I hope no one out there will feel fearful about getting started in their little golden book photo journal. And if you enjoyed this, give it a big thumbs up, hit the notification bell. Boy, I can't talk. And subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.